Wet towels left in their wake, a sea of strewn clothes where there once was carpet, plates of food festering under the bed. Why are teenagers so messy? Today, I break down why teenagers don't see the mess that they make and why parents shouldn't clear it up. Hi, I'm neuroscientist Dr. Ben Webb, and I want to help you cultivate a healthy brain for a mentally healthy and happy life. Welcome to episode 46 of Better Brain, Better You. Hey, how are you doing? Thanks for taking the time to join me for today's episode about the brain reasons for teenage untidiness. So if you're watching on YouTube, please do like, subscribe and hit that notification bell to hear when we release new episodes. And thanks for listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We release weekly episodes for brains of all ages. But before we get into the content today, I want to give you a free workshop on how to parent a teenage brain. On this workshop, we share 4 essential strategies for parenting teenagers to meet the needs of their rapidly developing brain. So you can watch this free workshop at ologyonlinecourses.com/workshop. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/workshop. Please do go and watch it. It really will help you to understand your teenager's behaviour and understand how you can help them meet their emotional needs. Okay, let's dive into our teenager's mess. Clothes left in the bathroom, lids left off things, cups of tea made back at the beginning of the year, plates that seem to be growing some sort of fungi, and glasses that you thought had been broken months ago. Why don't our teenage children care about being tidy? The unbelievable untidiness of teens is a real bugbear for many parents, myself included. For many parents, it just doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you want to clear up after yourself and have a well-organised, tidy bedroom? Somewhere by some miracle, I'm sure there might actually be a teenager who doesn't have a messy room, but I think most parents would doubt that. And a teen's messy room continues to be the source of ongoing parent-teen conflict in the vast majority of families. So while I can't make that messy room disappear, I really would like to try and help you to understand why it happens and perhaps reduce your stress and frustration levels just a little. So first step is understanding why the state of your child's room bothers you as a parent. After all, your child lives in the mess, not you. Apart from just wanting order, which can be a really important thing for many of us, what frustrates us is what the mess says about us, our authority over our child, and our effectiveness as a parent. Are we failing as a parent if our children can't see the mess and won't hear our pleas to clean it up? But the typical objection from a teen when we ask them to clean up their room is actually quite hard to argue against. It's my room, what's your problem? For your teen, their privacy and autonomy, not a messy room, are part of the issue. That room is his or her domain, and keeping it in whatever state they want is one way of them being independent and autonomous. Becoming more independent is a completely normal and healthy part of the developmental process during adolescence. Teenagers are trying to separate from you. They are pursuing their independence in their journey towards adulthood, but doing it from a safe place in the home you have created for them. They are pushing their independence, and a messy room is an easy, safe way to declare that independence. It's the first independent space that they have autonomous control over, and we should therefore try and respect how they want to live in it, as we would when they move out into their own home. But before we get into how we as parents can live with and manage their safety in their independent palaces, let me first share 2 other important reasons why they don't actually see the mess that they make. Both are due to the fact that their brains, which are still being wired up during the teenage years, don't notice and ignore the untidiness. Tidiness actually needs a sophisticated level of planning and attention, and the way the teenage brain is wired up means that their planning skills and attention abilities are not yet fully developed. So So different parts of their brain connect to each other through what we call synapses, which are insulated just like electrical wires. And that insulation is a fatty substance called myelin, which is created over time. And this rewiring with myelin of the teenage brain, this process takes 14 years between 10 and 24 years old. And it starts at the back of the brain and slowly moves forward to the front of the brain during that period. And the last bits of the teenage brain to get wired up are the frontal and prefrontal cortex, where insight, empathy, risk-taking, and attention and planning are controlled. So this means that organisation and tidiness are not a high priority for most teenagers. They have other things to worry about. They are messy because they are unable to effectively plan ahead and give themselves enough time to tidy up before they run off to do something else. Their brain doesn't yet have the cognitive foresight to plan for tidying their bedroom, so they simply ignore the mess. The other reason why they don't notice the mess is that adolescent brain is changing the way they attend to and notice things in their immediate and surrounding environment. Across the teenage years, they gradually shift from noticing things that grab their attention in their environment, and this is what we call bottom-up attention, to having much more control and consciously directing their attention to things in their environment, like the mess in their bedroom. And this is what we call top-down attentional control. So teenagers literally don't notice the mess because their top-down attention brain system is still being wired up. So a messy room is an easy, safe way for a teenager to declare their independence, and the protracted process of rewiring their brain across the adolescent years means that they actually won't notice the mess for most of the time that they're living with you. So arguing, I'm afraid, won't change that. But setting a few sensible family rules can make things a little easier. So the first one to try is actually to try and walk away from the mess, like a crime scene. Close the door and ignore it. Pick up the old food wrappers and dirty dishes because they can attract bugs if left for long enough, and that's obviously not good for their health. But ignore the rest of the mess. So if you like a tidy, ordered house, like me, then this is really quite hard to implement. But think about the reason why you're asking them to tidy their room. Is it because of your well-being or theirs? Try it. It's actually quite liberating when you do implement it. So teens can accept sensible, fair rules for family use areas. So while a clean bedroom might seem unreasonable to them, your teen can actually understand the need to clean up after themselves in the kitchen, not to leave shoes or their bag in the middle of the hallway, for example. And finally, don't clean up for your teen. It doesn't actually help. You'll just create an angry teenager who's also learned that when it gets messy enough, you'll do the job for them. So perhaps a better strategy is an offer to help. Many teens literally don't know where to start once the mess gets too big. So you could suggest ways to break that big task into smaller ones and offer storage and sorting solutions, for example. There certainly are things worth really pushing hard for with your teenager, but a messy room is not one of them. Someday that room will get cleaned. New friends, missing treasures, or the lack of clean clothes might be the motivation, or not. Then that clean room will just have to wait until he or she moves out. But before we finish up, I want to just remind you of a free workshop that we want to give you on how to parent a teenage brain. In this workshop, we share 4 essential strategies for parenting teenagers to meet the needs of their rapidly developing brain. So you can watch this free workshop at ologyonlinecourses.com/workshop. That's ologyonlinecourses.com/workshop. So thanks so much for tuning in today. It's been a real pleasure spending time with you, and I will look forward to seeing you next time.